So we've been talking a lot about what the motivational themes are.
Right, but what is the point of knowing your motivational themes? Well, it's to know ourselves and to know others better. But how do you actually know what someone else's motivational theme is?
You listen. We all are desperate to be known, right? Ultimately by God, but also by other people. And the thing about God is that He really demonstrates for us what listening actually is. Because when we talk with Him, He listens to us.
Right. Actually, in Jeremiah, the 29th chapter, it says this: "You will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you." What a remarkable thing that no matter what we're saying, if we're actually coming to God and talking, He's listening, actively listening to what we're saying.
Yeah, so how do we do that with others?
Every single one of us wants to be heard by others. And as we've seen, God gives us all a story to share inside His story. So be curious. Turn your attention to those around you. There are millions of stories all around. God has made every single person with unique experiences, passions, and gifts. It only takes a few inquiring questions and a little silence to give someone the chance to be known. So Pez, you just met someone. What'd you learn?
Well, it was fascinating. Just sitting down, I'd never met Matthew before, and I'd learned so many things about him in just a few minutes that as I sit back and think about our conversation, I feel like I could tell a lot of his story after just spending a few minutes with him.
Okay, like what?
Well, I found out that he grew up in Ohio. He has two brothers and a sister, and one of his brothers passed away when his brother was 6, but Matthew hadn't been born yet, so I guess he never met him. And I learned that he grew up in a Catholic, kind of a non-practicing Catholic family, and he sells clothing for a living, and so he hangs out a lot here, just like meeting doctors and things like that.
He was really nicely dressed.
He was really nicely dressed, and he said that I have to look the part.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm sitting here thinking, well, but it was just really cool because we had a really friendly conversation. And it helped that he was friendly too. He wasn't antagonistic or anything like that. But I find that most people, if you sit and listen to them, are friendly.
Yeah.
And they like to share about their life. So I just was asking him questions.
So what would you say his motivational theme is?
Well, as a first pass, I think it's belonging. Just because the way that the conversation was going, we were talking some about community. He really seemed to connect with that idea.
Yeah, and y'all exchanged numbers, right?
We did. I think we're gonna try to connect up later.
That's what's crazy about this whole thing. Listening is an invitation for actual relationship. And all it takes is listening. The challenge, I think the takeaway from any of this is, can you have a 10-minute segment where you're talking with someone by only asking questions? You're not interjecting opinions, thoughts, but literally only asking questions. Because if you do, in those 10 minutes, you'll learn more about someone than you will having just a normal back and forth conversation over days even.